And over the next 90 minutes, we'll be providing an overview and demonstration of the new Citrix Workspace Environment Management product, which is now available to all Enterprise and Platinum Citrix customers. I would also like to mention that this session is being recorded and will be made available on the XenTegra YouTube channel shortly. If you'd like to re-watch this presentation, or if you have any peers who could not attend, please direct them to the link once you receive it in email. I'd also like to introduce you to Julie Cassan and Agostino Tavares from Citrix. They will be handling the majority of today's webinar, providing an overview of Citrix WEM and the demonstration of the product. If you have any questions, please post them in the GoToWebinar and we will address them throughout the call. Julie, could you go to the next slide, please? First, I want to introduce you to XenTegra and tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Next slide. And go ahead and build that out, Julie, for me. Thank you. XenTegra, we are a Citrix Platinum partner. We are headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina, and our employees are made up of mostly ex-Citrix employees, or Citrites as they're known, or as we're known, as well as some of the best Citrix consultants. While our employees are based mainly in the Southeast, our coverage extends across America. We have performed and are performing projects as far away as Alaska, internationally in the Caribbean, and we continue to rapidly expand. Could you build that out the next part, please, Julie? Thank you. How do we help our customers at XenTegra? As XenTegra, we offer consulting services, managed services, as well as training opportunities. We enable our customers through training with the technologies we have chosen to work with, including Citrix, Igil, Nutanix as our core technologies, as well as ancillary technologies including FSLogix, ControlUp, ExtraHop, Login VSI, SMS Passcode, and many others. XenTegra training consists of boot camps or workshops that are 3 to 4 hours in length, like FSLogix, and up to 2 days, such as our XenApp and XenDesktop bootcamp. We provide these monthly, free of charge online, and also have an option to come on site. We honestly feel our customers benefit the most by having the opportunity to sit in front of the technology and put their hands on it. This training and enablement approach is unique to XenTegra, and our customers appreciate the ability afforded them with this approach. Another way we assist our customers is through Citrix Partner Fund reinvestment. Not only do we invest our time enabling our customers through training, we also invest money back into our customers. We invest strategically, making sure our customers spend these funds on training and events which will educate them on current and future trends or technologies. We provide funds for Citrix training vouchers, XenTegra infrastructure assessments, and IT conferences such as MS Ignite and Citrix Synergy. The next slide. Every year, we provide funds to take our customers to Citrix Synergy. You're looking at a picture from our customer dinner at Synergy 2016 earlier this year in Las Vegas. We supplied funds to make it possible for 50 of our customers to attend Synergy with us. This gave our customers the experience of Synergy, attend training sessions they would not have had the ability to attend, and to network with people in their own field or vertical. Our plan is to take more customers to Synergy 2017 than we did to Synergy 2016, and each year after that increase that number. If you have any questions regarding XenTegra training or customer enablement strategies, please reach out to me or go to our website at XenTegra.com for more information. Thank you all again for your time today, and without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Julie and Agostino for the rest of the demonstration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for the introduction. My name is Julie Cassagne. I'm now product consultant at Citrix, specialized on WEM, which is the new name of NorthScale. And I'm today with Agostino Tavares, who is Senior Sales Engineer in charge of WEM um, at Citrix now. So today we are going to present you what was NorScale and what is now WEM. We are going to explain you the benefits for you and your end users. Then in detail, how does the technology work? Then we will go to a demo, and I will come back at the end on the licensing and how it works and how you can implement it in your environment. Once again, if you have any question, feel free to put them in the chat box, and we will try to answer them at the end, and I think we will have time for Q&A moments. So to give you a bit of background, the company NorScale was created in 2012. Pierre Marmignon, that I'm sure some of you may know, who was a former CTP, created the company. The company grew up step by step with larger and larger customers, from 20,000 to 90,000 users for the biggest one. Most of them, I would say between 85 to 90%, were actually Citrix customers. Our leitmotif was bring added value to our customers. That's why we did large investment in research and development and to partner with technologies. And a few weeks ago now, we have been acquired by Citrix, and we are now part of this great company. Since the beginning of NorScale, we focused on giving end users the best experience ever. To do that, we focused on two main points. The first one is a very fast login or access to applications with, in average, a 15-second login time. And the second one is apps responsiveness. What does that mean? It means that apps are always responsive to what the end user wants to do. To do that, we are doing resource management, which is also going to lead you to be able to have between 20 up to more than 100% additional user on your infrastructure. How does this work? It's not just magic. For the resource optimization, actually we are analyzing live in real time what the end user is doing. And we are going to give him the right level of resources, CPU, RAM, or IOPS, according to what he is really doing. So that's for CPU and IOPS mainly. And for RAM, we are always going to recalculate all day long the real amount of RAM needed by each process, each application, in order to give the right level of resources needed. All this is done automatically with a smart engine without any action from the IT team needed. So it's really easy to set up and very easy to launch, and it will really improve your end user's life. How does it work? For CPU and IOPS, the process is quite simple. Today, in a perfect world, in a perfect environment, all the resources are available, and when a user launches his apps, they will be very responsive, very quickly. You will have the best level of experience very fast. But in real life, we all know that there are always many things running on an infrastructure. The antivirus, updates, the OS, other users, which are consuming resources, IOPS, CPU, and other resources are already used for something else. When the end user needs resources for his apps, they are not all available, so each app is taking a longer time to execute itself. It's because natively Windows is giving the resources to the first process, which is asking, and the one after the other. There is a kind of queue, let's say. The technology WEM is going to analyze what the end user is really doing and what he needs, and to allocate him the resources first, until he will have the best level of experience. That's really a key point. I'm sure you have all experienced already, for example, on XenApp server, you have 50 users, and one user is having a crash on an app. And this crash is consuming all the CPU, and all the other users on the server are saying, oh my God, they are calling the support and say, it doesn't work, it's very slow now. So what the technology is going to do, it's going to protect all the other users for which there's no issue. The one with a crashed app, for sure, his app is crashed, so we won't fix it, but the others will not be impacted anymore. So it will give them the best level of experience. If we go on the RAM part, for the RAM, what do we do? If we see the graph on the left, what's happening? In the morning, when end users are coming at the office, they are all opening many applications. Everyone is opening his Outlook, Link or Skype for Business, your business app, maybe one Word document, and then you open Chrome or Internet Explorer with your Gmail and your Facebook and your LinkedIn and the news or I don't know what, and you have many apps open at the same time. Each app is going to ask to the system a certain amount of RAM, which has been hard-coded by the developer inside the app, and it's the level of RAM which is presented in gray in the graph. What WEM is going to do is that the technology is going to analyze on which app the user is really working and which apps are just in the background, just reduced on the desktop. And for these ones which are not used at this moment, WEM is going to say to Windows, hey, you can ask this process, this app, and this one to release the memory they do not really need. And doing that, you are going to reduce dramatically the level of memory these apps are needed. You are going to reach the level presented in blue here. And when the end user is going to reuse his application, the app is going to ask the level of RAM it really needs to work and not the one hard-coded by the developer. And you are going to need the level presented in green on the graphic. And as you can imagine, you are going to reduce really a lot the global footprint of RAM of each user on your environment. If you take this technology on the XenApp environment with several users, you are going to obtain the results presented on the graphs on the right of the slide. On the top, it's a server with a XenApp environment on day 1. As you can see here, the server has the scale is between 0 and 7 gig of memory. And the average consumption of each session is around, let's say, 480 meg of RAM each. With the technology, it's the graph which is right under is on the bottom, we are going to have what we call here the Tetris effect. The scale is between 0 and 3 gig of RAM, and all day long the technology is going to recalculate automatically the level of RAM each session is needed. So you are going to have an average consumption, let's say around 150 meg instead of 480. And that's how this customer combined with the IOPS and CPU optimization, has been able to double the number of users on his server. I hope that's clear for everyone for this part. And you can see here, it's really impressive, and you're going to do huge savings. You're going to be able to have new apps virtualized without buying any new server. You are going to be able to rationalize the number of servers you have in your infrastructure. You are going to be able to have a new version of your applications with new requirements in terms of RAM without buying new infrastructure. So that's really great. So that part is for the resources optimization. If we go to the end user environment management, what's happening? The technology is going to help you to manage the end user environment. What do I call end user environment? All the elements you are today managing with GPOs, GPPs, scripts are going to be managed with WEM, and you are also going to be able to manage centrally in the console all your UPM environment. So it will really help you to manage all that. And once you have translated all your user parameters inside WEM, you will reach a login time under 15 seconds. And that's the average login time of all our customers. And some of them are really under that even. So how does it work? That's the explanation, a bit simple, but in the great lights, the explanation of a login. What's happening? First, you have the session initialization, then you are loading the user profile, then you apply GPOs, GPPs, then the login scripts, and then you are mapping the drivers and the printers. The engine of Windows behind that is a mono-thread engine, so all these parameters are going to be applied one after the other, and that's why you have login times over 45 seconds. With WEM technology, what's happening? First of all, we are going to be able to guarantee the size of the user profile, so it won't take ages. We all know that user profile is a place where all apps, and in particular all web apps, are going to write down when they need to put things, because it's always open in every environment. So we are going to clean that all the time in order to maintain the size of the user profile. The second thing is that the NorthScale engine, the WEM engine, sorry, which is going to apply all the GPOs, GPPs, and scripts that are going to be translated in the technology, is an engine which is able to apply up to 96 parameters at the same time instead of the mono-thread engine of Windows. So you can imagine that applying the parameters 96 by 96 is much faster than applying them one by one. And it's going to help you to really shrink dramatically the login time. The other key point is that we are going to give the end to the end user before the end of the mapping of network drives and printers, because the user is going to, for example, want to open his Outlook before launching a print, and so it will be able to start working. So it will really help on that part. I hope all that is clear. We'll come back to the questions maybe at the end. Or Agostino, maybe I'm going to give you the end to speak about the architecture.
Okay. So please, next slide. Hello, everybody. I'm Agostino. I'm the techie guy. So let's go. Let's introduce the technology. On the left, what you see is all Citrix VDAs on which you will have to deploy the WEM agent. The agent must be deployed on all VDAs, XenApp, XenDesktop. Once this agent is deployed, it will synchronize the configuration with the WEM broker server. This broker server is a dedicated server running Windows 2008 R2 or newer, Windows 2016 will be supported on day 1. On this server, you can also install the WEM Administration Console. It's easier for the management, but you can also install this admin console on the administrator's workstations. And finally, the broker will store its configuration on a SQL server. Regarding availability and scalability, it supports SQL clustering, SQL active-passive modes. The broker server itself will store the configuration on a local host cache. It's a local copy of the SQL database based on Microsoft SQL Compact Edition. This way, if the connection is lost, if for some reason the SQL environment is not available, all optimizations will continue to be implemented on the user environments. You have all the time you need to recover the SQL database from a backup or to rebuild a complete SQL environment if you prefer. The broker server.
Augustino,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Just a couple of questions here. How do you reduce the user profile size?
Oh, I will get into this in a few minutes when I will show not in detail, but the main components of the administration console.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yes. Another question: can the WEM broker server be made high availability?
Yes, this is what I was going to introduce. It's pretty easy. One broker server that is well sized, we have prerequisites, can support up to 5K concurrent VDAs. If you need more than 5K concurrent VDAs, just add another broker server. You can add 2, 3, 10, 20 broker servers and load balance all those broker servers with a NetScaler. A simple TCP layer 4 rule is okay. Regarding, so you have availability and scalability by implementing more than 2 broker servers with a NetScaler. Sounds good?
That's good. Next question: is SQL Express supported?
Well, for production, no. For evaluations, POCs, yes. Yes. Well, in fact, it's SQL Express is not supported officially just because Citrix has no access to SQL Express support from Microsoft.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, but for POCs and evaluations, you can even deploy SQL Express on the broker server itself, which eases evaluations.
Can you install the WEM broker into the XenApp or XenDesktop delivery controller server?
Certainly, never tried this one. For sure, what is not possible today is installing the broker server on a domain controller. This is not supported at all. But as this is just a Windows service, it should work on any other Windows environment. But our recommendations, particularly when going on production, is a dedicated Windows server.
Okay, so we have an attendee saying that he's installed it on the broker many times and it works fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a couple of other things here, very quick, Augustino. What port and protocol is used for the load balancing WEM broker?
Well, the agent that runs on the VDA communicates with the WEM broker over 2 TCP ports. I don't remind exactly. It's something like 82, 85, 82, 86, certainly. I don't remind exactly, but it's documented in the documentation. But it's TCP based, yes.
Okay. Yeah. The attendee is Hal Lang. He says he knows you well, or you know him
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
Uh,
Al.
he's saying 8284, 8285, and 8280.
Okay, thank you, Al.
There you go. Um,
I have to trust this guy, of course.
um, so does WEM need to be used with UPM or not?
Well, what I will go through this in a few minutes, but what I suggest is WEM should always be implemented for resource optimizations. CPU, RAM, IOPS on your XenApp and XenDex desktop environments. It should not be an option. It should be implemented anytime. What should be an option is login time optimizations. If a login time is actually under 45 seconds, maybe it's not necessary to implement this part of the technology. And particularly if a user logins in the morning and logs off in the evening. So no real bad user experience regarding the login. But if the login time is higher than 45 seconds, or maybe the user uses to log in and log off many times a day, and the login time is, well, is more than 45 seconds, yes, this should also be implemented. And the users will then experience login time stabilized over the time and under 15 seconds.
Great.
Regarding UPM, WEM should be seen as of today, of course. It will certainly change in the coming months, but as of today, it's more a complement to Citrix UPM than anything else. It's more a way to centrally manage UPM and with a GUI. The WEM Administration Council allows you to control UPM through its GUI. Sounds good?
Yep, understood. We have some more questions, but I'm going to let you, I don't want to interrupt the flow of what you're doing anymore. So, and some of these will probably be answered once we see the demonstration. So I'll just hold these questions until later.
Okay, okay. So if no more questions regarding the architecture, we should go to the next slide. Oh, it's me again, so demo. No questions?
I'll go ahead. This is one you may not know, and I have some experience with this from the App DNA days as far as a product being put into Platinum. But the question is, are there any plans for a desktop licensing model for WEM?
Very good question. Yes, Julie, please.
For the moment, unfortunately, no. Maybe one day, but for the moment, no.
Great. Thank you. And the last one, since we're asking one more here, is the WEM agent supported on both MCS and PVS, or either one?
Yes, yes, it's support. Yeah, well, in fact, it is support on all Windows, well, on all VDAs. Okay, let's say VDAs, Citrix, XenApp, or XenDesktop. But when it comes to non-persistent machines, MCS, XenDesktop, whatever you want, well, specific prerequisites must be taken, and particularly deploying the agent on the VDA in command line mode to be able to change the path of the local host cache. To make sure the local host cache, you see on the VDA on this picture, you see there is a local host cache of VDAs. This cache should be in a persistent drive. So this can be achieved only by installing the agent in command line mode with a specific switch, command line switch. But yes, it is supported, of course.
Okay, that's all the questions for now.
Okay, so let's go to the demo. Please, Julie, make me the presenter.
I already did that, no? Do it again then.
I can do it here, Julie. Oh, you did it. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Show my screen. This one. Okay. You should see my VM. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So, sorry, this has not been rebranded yet. This is still the North-Scale demo Al knows very well. I will connect as a user to a cloud-based platform. Okay. Okay. I have access to a XenApp environment and a Xen desktop environment. I will run the Xen desktop one based on Windows 7. Windows 10 is of course supported. Regarding XenApp, Windows 2008 R2 up to Windows 2012 as of today, and 2016 as soon as it is officially available. Maybe it's already available. Sorry, I did not check that one. So I click there, and my VM will show up. What you can see in a few seconds is the WEM splash screen. You should see it just after the welcome message now. Okay, you see. This means that WEM is optimizing my user workspace environment and maybe the login time and maybe UPM if implemented, or even Microsoft roaming profiles. Okay. On this VM, what you can see now is my Excel file. It's a beautiful Excel file with a beautiful picture here and lots of text. In fact, we don't care about the file. What we care about is how much RAM it's actually using. Okay, Excel. As you can see, Excel is actually using more or less 52 megabytes in my VM's RAM. Just take note on the amount of RAM actually being used by this application. What I did is I minimized the application. I could, instead of minimizing the application, I could have run a new application and make it the active one. Okay, for example, Microsoft Word. Okay, and we will check in a few minutes how the RAM amount will change or not. Let's go to performance. Here you can see that my VM is okay. Actually, I have lots of resources available and particularly CPU processing available. What does this mean? It means that if the user on this particular environment, when he runs an application, Microsoft Word, hello, you see, this is the best user experience I can get on this platform. When I run the application, it runs fast, I have no latency, my application is not freezing, everything is just running fine. So this is the best user experience I can get on this platform. For sure, I have lots of resources available. So what I'm going to show you now is a user environment that is saturated, and particularly in terms of CPU processing. I have here a tool, homemade tool. Okay, you can use any over CPU stressing tool you can find in the internet, and particularly one that you can find in the sysinternals website, I mean Microsoft, called CPU stress. I click on here, and as you can see, the whole CPU processing available on my machine is now saturated at 100%. I have two logical CPUs on this VM, and both are used at 100% actually. So what should happen on a user environment experiencing this CPU behavior? And I'm sure you agree, if a user clicks an application, it will take longer to show up. If it shows up, because some applications may crash under such stress, a Microsoft Outlook as an example, it will take longer to show up, but once the application shows up, the user will experience latency. The user may have applications freezing, or application just may crash. So what I'm trying to simulate is a user environment that is maybe under, well, experiencing Windows updates, maybe a antivirus just started scanning the whole system, maybe a Adobe Reader crashed in the background and is using 100% CPU. Well, potentially lots of annoying things in the background. But on my environment here, if I click my applications, all are just running with exactly the same user experience as on a environment with lots of resources available. You see, my application is just running very fine. I can run multiple applications. Oh, no PowerPoint, okay. Maybe WordPad, yes, WordPad is also running very fine. I can enter lots of text. So as you can see, I get the best user experience all day long, no matter what's happening behind the scenes. Maybe, and this is even more interesting on a multi-user platform such as XenApp. You see, everything is just running fast on a saturated environment. So with WEM, you can ensure that the user experience is guaranteed all day long, no matter what's happening on the system. Okay, let's go back to the processes view here. And as you can see, my Excel file is no more using 52 megabytes, but only more or less 2 megabytes. So you see the difference. This is exactly what Julie showed you regarding RAM optimizations. Excel without WEM would be continuing consuming 52 megabytes or more in RAM all day long until I close the application. But I'm not using it. It's idle actually. WEM is aware of that, so it decided to use Windows APIs to ask the operating system to recalculate the real amount of RAM this application needs, actually 2 megabytes. If I enable the application, well, let's say I make the application active again by moving the application to the foreground, and changing the text, browsing, etc., I will reuse more RAM. I will use more RAM, but only the amount my application needs. 6.6 megabytes and not 52 megabytes. So what you should imagine is that WEM will not only optimize Excel, but all user applications running on this environment. If running a XenApp platform, it will optimize all applications for all users on the XenApp environment. And we know by experience with lots of customers running the technology for a while, that the minimum savings you can get on XenApp are 35% minimum savings. And on Xen Desktop, it's at least 20%. This is very, very interesting, and particularly regarding the physical infrastructure that you need to run XenApp and Xen Desktop, as you will make huge savings on the physical infrastructure. Do you have questions?
Yeah, we've got a couple here. One attendee is saying we have lots of issues with Microsoft profiles being corrupted or not updating correctly. Will this improve our experience with Microsoft roaming profiles?
Well, what I demo there is only resource optimizations, RAM, CPU, and IOPS. If we want also to optimize the Microsoft profiles, well, what can be done is, I will show you the administration console. Here we have the complete administration console. And regarding profiles, you can optimize Microsoft roaming profiles by making sure the size of the roaming profile will stay consistent over time and not growing and growing. How? Just by going through the different menus here and, for example, excluding some folders from the roaming profile, by ensuring the temp files, etc., are deleted on logoff, all that stuff. This will make the user profile be more consistent. It may not guarantee that you will not get corrupted roaming profiles, but it will ensure that the roaming profile will will keep a consistent size over the time and ensure that the size is not what may cause a corrupted profile. At least you can even clean the complete profile with the files you want. Well, this is not only for Microsoft roaming profiles. Exactly the same for Citrix UPM. If you have implemented Citrix UPM, you can manage UPM through the administration console. Just enable it, and then you can go through the different menus to optimize and set up properly UPM depending on the target environment.
That's very handy.
It is. And it will be more and more integrated in the future. Certainly UPM and WEM will be, well, will have a development that will merge or something like that, both technologies. I don't know yet, but certainly.
We had a request. Could you show the performance of the workstation without WEM running to show the difference?
Oh, the VM without, well, yes and no. Actually, no. Why? Just because I have read-only access to this VM. So I can't. If I had read and write access, it would be very easy just by, well, in fact, the agent is running a Windows service. services.msc. I have even no access to the services console. Sorry. But yes, it would be very easy just by stopping the WEM Windows service and then and deleting a cache, the cache, the local host cache. Okay. And then you can easily check that it is not optimizing the system. As you can see here, processes, all user processes are running with a high priority here. You see base priority column, high. When you disable the service, the WEM service, and you run applications again, you will see all user applications with a normal priority here, meaning that optimizations are not running anymore.
Okay, that leads right into the next question I have then, Agostino. One attendee, Ed, says, I see that the CPU eater2.exe is low base priority. Is that how this keeps the other applications running while the bad process is eating the CPU? In other words, it's not, okay?
No, it's not. In fact, everything is automatic. And everything is set up here, system optimization. If you want to implement only resource optimizations on XenApp and XenDesktop, I mean CPU, RAM, and DIOPS optimizations without login and UPM, roaming profiles, etc., you have to set up a configuration here only, system optimization, and don't go through the over menus, only system optimization. And then you will get fast logoff, CPU management. You see, we provide simple rules. For example, in the target environment, if we have 4 logical CPUs, the target environment is XenApp running virtual, so maybe you have 4 virtual CPUs, you run the task manager on the target environment, and you see 4 logical CPUs. Okay, so let's divide 100% by 4, the number of logical CPUs, and you get 25%. Okay, so what WEM will do is it will control in real time all the applications and system process running on the user environment. If an application overconsumes CPU, I mean more than 25% in this particular use case, for at least 15 seconds, then its priority will be automatically lowered to low for at least, not at least, for 3 minutes, and then released back, and its priority will be lowered again if it continues to overconsume, etc. This is fully automated, and there is the W agent monitoring in the background what the user is doing in real time and what he's not doing. I mean, user applications and system applications. Fully automated. And then, if you have very specific applications, you can go through the different configuration menus here. You can find here. For example, make sure that a specific application is has a specific CPU priority. You can even set CPU affinity. And the last one, CPU clamping. What you see here is not the one that I used in my demo. This is over CPU eaters for different demos. CPU clamping is the last option you should have for applications. So if you have an application that runs bad on the user environment, you know that it's a bad application, but this application is mandatory because it's a it has not been updated for a while, and it's mandatory because it's part of a core business. I don't know. So we have to make it run, but if we make it run without WEM, it will use 100% CPU. So you can add it to here and ensure this application will not use more than a certain amount of CPU. This is possible. Sounds good?
That's good. And Eric, if that does not answer your question was next about how does the CPU management work when it's at 100%. Let us know. Just pop a question in there again, but I think that addresses it.
Now, if I go back to my machine here, I have my my application running at 100% CPU. This one on. Okay. Where is it? There. You see, and I switch this application to the low priority. But in fact, this is just to ease my demo. I have the application. Where is it? No, it's not. Okay. By default, it's 15 seconds. Okay. After 15 seconds, WEM will lower the priority of this process. As you can see, low. Which means that maybe the application is using 100% CPU, but with a low priority. My applications, for example, Microsoft Word, will run with a high priority. And this is why it will get all the focus from the system, guaranteeing the best user experience as possible all day long. Is it okay with the answer? Sounds good?
I think so, yes. Next one is, what is the relationship with the load evaluator? I can expect that if multiple users start using an application after launch, again, the server could get overloaded due to the fact that the LE allowed more users since memory and CPU usage have been decreased.
Well, in fact, and particularly on XenApp servers on which you have multiple users, how do we get more density? By combining memory savings, as you could see, and by ensuring that even running an average of 80% CPU or even more, 90% or even more, users will continue to get the best user experience as possible with their applications. And this is how we achieve higher user density per machine.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah. Yep. All right. Here's a loaded question. Julie and Agostino, are you ready? Does this replace profile management products such as AppSense or Profile Unity?
Well, not really. First of all, WEM works only on Citrix VDAs, XenApp and XenDesktop. It does not work on non-VDA environments. Res and AppSense and maybe other tools are covering the whole Windows environments, workstations, etc. So it's not really competing. WEM also manages Microsoft roaming profiles and Citrix UPM. If you want to go further and particularly regarding Windows environments than VDAs, then you need a third-party solution. Well, WEM provides provides a very, very good experience. And from what we know so far, we have lots of customers running it live on production. It's really providing, certainly, the best user experience ever regarding CPU RAM and IOPS optimizations with its machine learning algorithms. Regarding the login, when you move everything, that is GPUs, GPPs, network drives, login scripts, all that user stuff that runs at login into WEM, you will also get a login time that will be under 15 seconds, and you can ensure that it will continue to be under 15 seconds day after day. This is great with the technology. But it does not provide a profile technology. At the moment, no. It completes Citrix UPM, yes. Sounds good?
And for sure, with WEM plus UPM, you will be able to do many things without needing any other third-party technology. But for some actions like maybe security or stuff like that, you will still need third-party technologies.
Good, thank you. Does WEM work alongside Windows System Resource Manager for Server 2008 R2 and its RAM management?
Good point. No. Well, in fact, if you have a technology, maybe legacy Citrix XenApp that is being optimizing the RAM and maybe the CPU, or Microsoft Resource Management, or Absence, Res, etc., you have to disable those technologies to make sure WEM will be providing the best user experience.
Great, thank you.
But if you have Absence and Res, as an example, that are optimizing the user workspace, that are ensuring the whole applications and workspace security, etc., you can continue this way. You just have to disable Res, Absence, CPU, RAM optimizations.
Okay.
And both will be okay to continue running together. Why? Just because WEM, that is driverless. It does not use any driver. So implementing WEM has no incidence on the target environment. It cannot make an application crash. It cannot do anything wrong on the target environment because it is driverless. It intelligently and dynamically manages CPU, IOPS priorities, and RAM optimizations using Windows APIs, Windows mechanisms.
All right. Next question. If you configure UPM settings in the WEM console, does that replace the need for the UPM group policy?
Definitely. Yes.
Okay. And the second part to that is also if it is configured in WEM console and the UPM group policy is used, if there is a conflict between the settings, which one wins?
Oh, good point. Honestly, I don't know. I can come back to you with an answer, or maybe Hal as the answer, as he's a guru in this space.
Okay, and David, if you would like to, David asked the question, if you'd like to email me with that question, again, I'll make sure that we get an answer. Augustino provides an answer for us. And
I would say, but I'm not sure at the moment, but okay. I would say as WEM completes UPM with a admin GUI, well, it's the same. For me, it's the same. So the last that is saving the configuration will win.
Okay. And this is more of a log question. Is there a log that says which offending application it was? So I guess maybe a little overview of the logging capabilities here, Augustino.
Yeah, you have logs everywhere that you can enable. And for example, here, advanced settings. Okay. Service options. And here you can enable this debug mode. It will create a log file on the target environment that logs everything. So this way you can see which application is offending the system, and how often the WEM is changing its priorities. And maybe it's not a bad application. Maybe you set, you see here, when you set the value here, maybe this value is not okay for a particular application. Let's say Microsoft Excel with a specific macro. When a user runs this application, it will maybe use 30% average CPU for more than 15 seconds. So instead of changing this application's priority, maybe we should consider this application as a specific use case and exclude the process.
Very good. Can WEM offer self-service profile resets to users?
Well, for the profile, actually no, but it offers self-service support that can be implemented, and this may be very interesting. As you can see here, for example, I have a bug, I have an error showing up. What I can do as a user, I have the WA agent here running in the sys-tray. I can capture screen and then, hello support team, this is my error, blah, 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 send to support. This is something very interesting within the product. But managing the profile, actually, no.
Okay. Does spike protection prevent multi-threaded applications from using more than one processor?
Well, in fact, the spikes protection here is a overall configuration. It's the overall CPU processing that you will control with this configuration. You can go through specific configuration, but by default, you just have to enable this one, and it should be okay in most scenarios. You have this one too here, limit CPU core usage. That may be interesting on when you have, anytime you have more than one logical CPU in the target environment. Let's say you have a XenApp environment with 4 logical CPUs, you will enter here 3. Let's say the total CPU, logical CPUs, -1. You remove 1. This way, WEM will manage CPU priorities on 3 CPUs and leave 1 CPU for the system usage.
Okay. It says, we have a question here. When you're trimming the working set of RAM for an application, it is writing the information back to the disk. So doesn't that affect the performance of the application since disk is much slower than RAM?
No, because in fact it just uses Windows mechanisms that any application developer should use that they never use. It does not slow the application. But in some legacy environments, if you have the disk that is really slow, yeah, you may notice some latency. But on modern infrastructures, you should never notice issues, unless maybe the swap file is not well set up. I mean, the size has been changed from its default to a very low size, for example.
Okay. I think you've already addressed this, Agostino, but we can announce it again. Can this technology be used on physical non-Citrix machines to help with optimization?
No, today.
Not anymore, let's say.
It used to be in the NorthScale days. Since the acquisition, no. But we don't know about the future.
Okay. Could you get into a little bit more detail on the profile side as to what exactly the capabilities are?
Yeah, I can. Okay, so regarding the profile or the login optimizations. What
Go
is
ahead
very
with the
interesting
login,
with
Agostino, anyway, because we
okay.
have to go on in the demo.
Okay, so regarding the login, everything that is machine-based Active Directory, everything that is user-based WEM, you can move part of all user configuration into WEM. You can do it step by step. It's not mandatory to move everything right now into WEM. You can first start with printers, tomorrow with network drives, etc. So how can you do? You have here actions. In actions, you will create all the resources you typically create with GPPs, GPOs, all that stuff. Applications, application icons, etc. You can create network shares here. You can even import network print servers, network drives, everything that is related to GPPs, you can find it here. WEM does not support, for example, Microsoft Office, Internet Explorer, ADMX templates. So import and export. So if you have such needs, what I suggest is that you apply all that stuff through traditional GPUs into a user account. You load this user account I into the registry, you export this part of the registry, and then you can import it into WEM, etc. You create all your resources. And then you will go to filters. Here you can create one or more rules per user or user group, and for each rule you can create one or more conditions. What are conditions? By default, you have a default rule and a default condition that are always true. You can add more. Just click Add here, and if I click here, you can see that you can find many conditions that are available, that are directory-based, client IP address match, client OS, blah, 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 IP address match, and you have also XenApp related conditions. At the bottom, you see here XenApp, etc. So this is very interesting, for example, for a roaming user that is actually in a specific site. So you want to map as a default printer the closest network printer available. Okay, if a user moves into another site, you want this user to automatically get the closest network printer mapped. This is possible with conditions. So you create the resources, you create rules and conditions, and then you assign all those resources to a particular user or user groups. For example, this one, my user group that is actually demo users. You double click here, and below you will find two windows. On the left, all the resources available. On the right, all the resources actually applied. For example, yeah, here. If I go there, don't save, blah, blah, okay. Network resources. I have actually my documents with mapped as the V drive here, logical drive. Okay, let's go there. Demo user is okay. I remove this one. Yes. On the user environment, I have two options. Well, in fact, three options. I wait 15 minutes, which is the default synchronization time. I log off and log in again, or as a user, I click here and I click refresh. Yes. No more P drive. I go back to my console here, double click V, you select the condition. Okay. Okay. here, just refresh the settings. Okay, okay. And I get my V drive again. So it's really simple. Regarding applications, for example, this one, you have many options. You're just right-click here to pin, for example, the application to the taskbar, etc. So the more complicated here is to create all the resources you have, and particularly all GPP-based resources, etc. And then you just have to create filters and assign all those resources to the users, user groups. And you will get the login time under 15 seconds. Sounds good?
That's good. Did you have more demonstration to go through, or other parts of the product, or is this still, can we still do some more Q&A?
It's more Q&A.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to go through the licensing and support before the end, but after that we can go on all through and questions.
Okay. Would you like to go ahead and do the licensing now?
Oh, we can do that if you want, sure.
Sure.
So it will be clear for everyone, and then we'll have all the information done.
For the questions that we have in the queue, we will get to them. I just want to go ahead and make sure that we present everything Julie and Agostino have to present, then we'll go back to questions.
Okay, thank you.
Do you see the slides again?
Yes, we do.
Oh, great. So it's quick because it's quite simple, actually. So for licensing and support, WEM is available for all enterprise and platinum customers who are under software maintenance. That's the keyword here, software maintenance. And for the supported version on XenApp, you have 6.5, 64-bit, and 7.x, and on XenDesktop, 7.x. So I think it's quite a lot. And many customers will be able to use the technology, so that will be real great. So that's quick and easy, and I think it's simple also. If you have questions also regarding this part, just put them in the chat, we'll answer them also.
Okay. Agostino, how hard or easy is this to implement into an existing Citrix server farm?
Well, we have a few prerequisites. Once the prerequisites are okay, the resource optimizations, I mean RAM, CPU, and IOPS, can be implemented in maybe half a day.
That's quick enough.
Regarding the login optimizations, it's different, of course, because you'll have to go through the GPUs, GPPs. The best is to export, well, to create a RSOP for a particular user or user group, isolate everything that is part of a user another machine, and then go through this and move everything into WEM. So yes, this one needs a few days, if not more, depending on the complexity, and then you can implement login optimizations too. So
Okay.
really easy to implement.
Okay, we just had a question. It is available today. So for everyone on software maintenance that are enterprise or platinum Citrix customers, you can go out and download WEM today.
Exactly.
Just something that is missing from this page. You must be, when you go to the downloads page, make sure you click on the XenApp and XenDesktop 7.11x. This is the very last version that provides WEM, and you must be running the license server that comes with this version.
Okay, so there's a minimum license server
Of
requirement as well.
11.14, if I'm not wrong, Julie.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
The version, I guess it is 11.14 for the license server version as a minimum.
I don't know.
Okay.
What will be coming? What is in the version now? You have a separate package with WEM you can install, and just like Agostino just said, you will have to install the new license broker, and then it will work all together.
Okay. Another question here. How does the fast log off compare to the auto end tasks and wait to kill app registry settings?
Well, in fact, the fast log off, when you tick this one, it will just
I'm sorry,
hide the...
Agostino, do we need to make you presenter again?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, this option just hides the log off process from the user. The user will just notice a very fast log off, but behind the scenes, the regular logon will continue on the Xen app or Xen desktop. It just enhances the user experience even regarding the log off process. It cuts somewhere, it cuts the TCP connection from the user and the VDA.
Okay, so Hal is saying on here, the fast log off forces a disconnect at the click of the log off button.
Yeah.
Okay. The log off still continues in the background. Okay. So
Exactly.
So that, yeah, understood now. So the user would just experience almost like a session disconnect. It just pops right out.
WEM only focuses on the best user experience as possible. So this is part of it.
Got it. Are there plans in the future to allow this product to enter login scripts?
Well, you cannot already enter login scripts. It is the external tasks you can find in the administration console. But the best option is not to enter login scripts, is to go through the login scripts and create the content of a login script into WEM through the different menus.
Okay.
For example, if you have a legacy login script based on kicks, we made this a few months ago, just open the script and everything that is within the script, try to implement it through different menus within WEM. And this is how you will get the best login time ever. If it's not possible for some reason, because maybe you're not comfortable with the content of a script, then just run the script as external task. It will be always faster than leaving it in Active Directory.
Okay. Will this grab or will this work with pinned items in Windows 10?
It works with Windows 10 and all the latest Microsoft Windows operating systems.
Okay. And one attendee here asked, can sites be explained a bit more? It seems that some settings are global and some are site-specific.
Well, yes. I would recommend creating a site based on the target environment as far as all the components of the target environment are identical. For example, you have two XenApp, well, you have a XenApp farm, only one XenApp farm. But within that farm, you may have a lot of servers running 2 logical CPUs and other servers with 4 logical CPUs because maybe they are running different applications. Okay, so you will create 2 sites, one for the XenApp running 2 CPUs and another site running 4 CPUs. Sounds good?
Sounds good. Will binary registry keys be allowed?
I don't get you. Binary registry files. What do you mean? Oh, .dat
Oh,
files?
hexadecimal.
No. Oh, XML? No. Actually, no.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the attendees? Uh, when will there be a clone button for sites so you could clone a site?
You already have this one. In fact, you create a configuration for a site, and then you have on the top left a button for export settings. Click export, you select or create a folder, and you will store the configuration as a XML file within that folder. And then you create a new site, you select the new site from the drop-down list, and then you click import configuration. And you just have to change the well, for example, if you have a XenApp file with 2 CPUs versus 4 CPUs before, you just have to change the CPU values. That's all. This is pretty straightforward and very simple for resource optimizations. It's not mandatory because it's just a few clicks. But when you are dealing with login optimizations, and you just spent a few days creating a configuration, you can export it from one site and import it into a new one and just make a few changes that are different, and you're done. So there, regarding particularly the login optimizations, you will really gain lots of time.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? I know we're coming up on the end here. I don't see any more questions out here, so guess we can wrap this up. I did want to mention that this was recorded, and for all that attended, we'll be sending out an email with a link to YouTube where this presentation will be available. So if you'd like to rewatch it or send it to a peer that could not make it to this presentation, please do. So with that, I guess we can wrap this up. So Julie, Agostino, thank you both very much for your time today. For all the attendees, thank you all.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Very much
Thank you,
for your
and thank you
time as
everyone
well.
for listening to us.
Yep. We've had a lot of questions regarding the technology, so I'm hoping that that the attendees here today, what the product's value within a Citrix environment, what it is, that their knowledge of it is clear there. So again, thank you all very much for your time, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Have a nice day. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.